What did you make of last night's performance?
I thought it was awesome that the championship going to Toronto. It's great. I think it's great for the NBA. And, man, what a run by Kawhi Leonard. It's one of the greatest runs we've ever had. Going back to Orlando, Philly, Milwaukee. It's right up there with Dirk Nowitzki. Trying to think. Obviously, Michael had some runs. But it's one of the great runs of all time. It's hard to put into words what you saw the last 2 months. Like I say, Dirk carried a team. Michael obviously did it a few times. All those other great players had a lot more help.
Well, even Michael had Scotty, and
Yeah, but it ain't the same. Scotty was a good player. Don't get me wrong, but this guy, there's not another Hall of Famer on that team.
Yeah.
Bird, Bird and Magic. Those guys had 3 and 4 Hall of Famers. But I don't mean any disrespect to any player, but what he carried was a lot different. It's one of the great runs I've ever seen. Like I say, Dirk Nowitzki is probably, I think it's one of the great runs I've ever seen.
And he went through a great Heat team to get that championship.
He did. Went through a great Heat team. That's what I'm saying. It's a small list. Dirk, Kawhi, man, it was awesome.
Do we put an asterisk by this? The way we did, like the Rockets when they won their titles, everybody says, yeah, but Mike was playing baseball then. When the Bulls beat the Lakers and Magic was injured, are we going to do that? Is history going to look back and go, yeah, but Golden State was all banged up? And not that if I'm a Raptor fan, I don't care. You can put whatever you want next to it. We still won a championship. But is history kind to the Raptors with pulling off this surprise?
Well, only idiots and fools think like that. I think Kenny's happy with his 2 rings. I think Michael's happy with one of his rings when Magic pulled his hamstring. I think Byron Scott did also. Listen, if you just are being pessimistic if you can't give Kawhi Leonard what you just saw the last 2 months. He's back in the debate who's the best player in the NBA. He was in that conversation before he got hurt. And right now, it's him, Giannis, LeBron, those guys, man, they're back in that. He's back in that conversation who's the best player in the world, plain and simple.
What would you do if you're Kawhi Leonard?
I stay in Canada. He's got arguably the best general manager in the NBA. Guy know how to draft players. First time in NBA history since 1966. Not any player on their team went before 14. That's amazing that guy can have all those good players. Obviously he don't do it by himself. He got to have a great scouting staff. But to be able to get to the championship with no player drafted higher than 14, that guy. And first of all, listen, I know it's a lot of we don't want to get this man credit, but what Masai Ujiri did this year is one of the coolest poker moves in the history of sport. That man could have kept DeMar DeRozan, won 50 games and lost in the playoffs, and kept his job for another 10 years. Everybody would have been happy. But to trade his best player for a superstar, fire the coach of the year, put all his chips in the middle of the table. A nice addition, Marc Gasol, too. Don't forget that. Because, Dan, you know how these jackasses and idiots and fools work in our business. If Toronto gets beat, you know how the idiots in our business are. They're going to crush him. They're going to crush him. But he had the courage and conviction to put all his chips in the middle of the table and say, I'm betting on me. And he cannot get enough credit. Like I say, nice addition going out, getting Marc Gasol, who played fantastic. So shout out to Masai Ujiri, man. I no disrespect to R.C. Buford, who's fantastic. Sam Presti's fantastic. But what Masai Ujiri did in the last year is one of the great Cool Hand Luke moves of all times.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.